Coming to you from our opulent and luxurious 4x8 refurbished room closet at the national headquarters in Indianapolis. With duct tape studio lights and a mic that you barely can hear, we hope to entertain and educate you. This is the Tango Alpha Lima podcast.
They call me crazy cause I'm facing all my giants. They try to scare me into thinking I can fight it. They tell me I should never even think of trying. But that's just me, I'm gonna live out in defiance.
Hello, and welcome back to the Tango Alpha Lima podcast. I'm your host, Mark Seavey, and I'm joined by apparently the next star of Chips. I'm not sure what's going on there, but Jeff Daly of the Hollywood Dailies and the Michigan Dailies. We'll call you the Hollywood Dailies today.
Hollywood.
I can't get down with the glass. I'm not a sunglasses guy anyway, but that would drive me nuts.
Well, I mean, especially because it's not that bright in here, so I'm looking around going.
That could be the reason I'm not into sunglasses, that I'm basically a vampire. Like, I never go outside. I don't even have normal lights. That's why I look orange, is because I have red and blue lights above me. But we're also joined by Ashley Garbolja Maldonado, who actually brings, something worthy of looking at, as opposed to Jeff and I, who look like the refuse of humanity right now. But
Jeff is insulted. He's like, "What are you talking about?"
Jeff certainly. It's just the glasses. He looks like he kind of.
He's like a crime investigator.
Yeah.
Like Miami Vice.
He would 100% wear those sunglasses in the dark.
Shirt.
Yeah, he shows up at a crime scene at like 11 o'clock at night and he takes them off. Yeah.
It's like a slow pull away with your glasses.
Yeah, I just can't. But if you can't tell, our theme here is movies and entertainment, and we are going to be joined by Barbara Autin, who is with Veterans in Media and Entertainment. She's a West Point graduate and a former Army engineer who served 2 tours of Iraq. During her first deployment, she served as a platoon leader whose missions included the construction of the first dirt airstrip built in combat since the Vietnam War, life support structures for a combat support hospital, and road upgrades that were required due to damage caused by IEDs. After the military, she earned her MBA and moved to Los Angeles, where she began to volunteer with Veterans in Media and Entertainment, and helped establish the Jobs and Internships program. In addition to her work with VME, she worked on the television show Ballers, participated in the Lionsgate and Academy Gold internship programs, and served as a military consultant for projects such as Mary Jane Wells's one-woman play Heroine. So we're very excited to have her, and she, I'll let her say it.
Well, Mark, don't tell her this, but Barbara, legit is one of my favorite people on the planet. Don't tell her. She has a fresh do, and I don't want her head to expand and mess it.
Hopefully then she won't see the podcast. So, all right, well, we will be right back in a minute with Barbara Autin.
100 Miles for Hope is back, and we're taking it to the next level. This year, you could choose over 40 different activities and track your progress on a handy mobile app. We have sweet swag to commemorate your journey, including tech shirts, baseball caps, hoodies, pins, patches, and challenge coins. All proceeds from these purchases support veterans and military families through the Veterans and Children Foundation. Head to legion.org/100 miles to get started.
All right, we are now joined by Barbara Autin. Barbara, thank you for joining us. We are not going to hold it against you that you're a friend of Jeff, but we are going to allow him the right of first refusal here on questions. So, Jeff, get at it.
But you still managed my little intro question, because I was going to say, Barbara, you look so familiar. Are you in the American Legion somewhere? And what's your post?
So I am post 43.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you're also our East Coast representative, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're within a couple of hours of Ashley, I believe.
Yes, I'm at Fort Bragg right now.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So we're just going to jump right into this VME, Veterans in Media and Entertainment. And every great idea solves a problem. That's just kind of how things work. What is the problem that VME solves?
So first off, I just want to say thank you so much for having me today. And I have to give a quick shout out to Holly, who is just amazing through this whole process. So thank you,
Super
Holly.
producer Holly.
She is. So the problem that VME is solving is really what we're looking for is a way to really minimize the service gap from the transition from the military into the entertainment industry. And I can kind of give you a little bit of my background and how I got involved in VME. I served in the Army. I was an Army engineer, deployed to Iraq, and got out of the military, got my MBA. And I thought, it's going to be pretty easy to transition into the entertainment industry, which is like the most ridiculous thing ever. And I figured I'd just, work my way up from the bottom, just go entry level, and I would figure out a way in. And I found out it really doesn't work that way. And I actually found out later, there's a LinkedIn article that said something like 81% of jobs is based off of somebody you know. And while I'm a member of Post 43, Scotty, my husband, is a member of Post 283. And we were at a meeting and I was talking to somebody there, and his wife worked in HR and entertainment. And he was like, actually, I think it's higher. It's like 98% entertainment industry. So kind of like an unofficial thing, but it's really hard to break into the entertainment industry. And part of the reason is that because of our years of service, we haven't had that time to develop that network. So that was what I was facing when I was trying to get a job. And I was really lucky because I met a couple of people who were veterans, Abe Bradshaw, who's a Navy veteran, Karen Kraft, a couple people, and they said, you need to come to, it was Veterans in Film and Television at the time, but we later transitioned the name to Veterans in Film and Television to be more inclusive to all of the different spaces in entertainment. So you need to come to these meetings and just get connected to other veterans who are also interested in the entertainment industry. So I did. It's not a thing that like replicates film school, but it does kind of create this peer-to-peer network. And the main goal of it is really to accelerate that transition and sort of be your first network as you try to get into the entertainment industry. So that's kind of how it started. And that's how it worked for me. So I started going to meetings, I started getting to know people, and I applied for a job with HBO on the show Ballers as a PA. It was a trainee PA program. And through VME, I was able to get a recommendation for that, went through the application process, and I was selected for that job, and then was able to get other jobs. They ended up working for Lionsgate, actually still work for Lionsgate now, reading scripts, and was able to kind of build my career out that way through that one opportunity. But because I saw how much that one opportunity really changed my life, when they came to me and said, hey, do you want to volunteer and really formalize this program? I was like, absolutely, yes. So A. Bradshaw and I started, I guess it's like 5 or 6 years ago now at this point, but kind of formalizing that with studios like HBO, Lionsgate, CBS, NBC, Universal, all of these different studios. We have 23 different entertainment partners right at this point, from studios to production companies, to provide a way for veterans to kind of take that first step, get that foot in the door. Because we really want people to know all the amazing qualities that veterans bring to the entertainment industry, even though we might be coming in a little bit later. So I feel like that was a long answer to that question.
No, it's a great answer. I do want to point out to everyone on Earth that Barbara's being super humble. She was in the Army. She wasn't in the Army. She's a West Point graduate and just amazingly badass from head to toe. So thank you for that. And thank you for your answer. But I wanted to make sure that people don't just, because I catch a lot of flack for the Hollywood thing. I want to kind of make sure that you point out that this is not just Los Angeles centric.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And
thank you for robbing me of that, Jeff.
Oh,
well
did
done.
I get you? Did I get you back?
You did get me back.
Because they steal my questions all the time. So you could decentralize it a little bit. That would be helpful.
Yeah, so it's actually, so it is primarily based in Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta, where the film industry is. And we do have members nationwide. We also have members who are still in the military and are looking to make that transition into the entertainment industry. So there are a lot of different opportunities. I mean, I think especially over the past 2 years, there are even more opportunities outside the Los Angeles area than there have been before. The other thing I want to point out is that it's not just above the line, below the line, actor, producer, director jobs. I mean, we place jobs in HR departments, communications, and security. There was a job that we posted, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months ago for somebody with a construction background to go work on one of the lots and help with those projects. So we have all different types of jobs because the entertainment industry isn't just the acting and the writing and directing. It's a whole process of everything that comes together to make something happen.
Perfect.
All right, Ashley. Ashley, you are up.
Okay. So kudos to the website. Love the website. Thank you for being here, Barbara. I am a big education gal myself, and I love programs. I love education. And I saw that, you've got classes, you've got workshops, you've got this whole gamut of range, right? As you've already stated, there's plenty of opportunities in the entertainment industry, not just director, producer, etc., actor, right? So tell us a little bit more about the classes, roundtables, workshops that are offered, and how a veteran who's interested would get involved.
Yeah, so the process to join is actually very easy. It's a $25 fee to join. It's a one-time only fee, and you provide your DD-214 with social security number and all that stuff blacked out. And that's the only fee to join. Once you join, you have access to the screening systems, which is run by Yadana Daniels, who's former Army intelligence. And then, which is really cool. Like it's both in person, which is more pre-pandemic, and now that has gone online to streaming. We have a ton of different types of classes. So we have classes for writers. We have Kimberly Salhammer's Enlightened Screenwriting Series. We have film production classes. We have, even for acting, we have the ABC the casting project. So we had some of the top casting directors come in. Our members were able to send in submission tapes, and they selected 14 of those veterans and worked with them individually. And that was something that Rebecca Murga brought together. And so there's a ton of things. We went pretty much exclusively online once the pandemic happened, and we've had, I believe it's 62 classes since the pandemic started. And so it's a great place for, community. It has been really great for everybody who's not in Los Angeles, because a lot of these classes used to be just in the Los Angeles area. But since we've gone online, anybody can join those classes. And like I said, those are all free classes.
That's excellent. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the lineup I'm seeing from award-winning cinematographers, writer-directors, having some of these guest speakers. And I noticed you also have a speaker series, and are the guest speakers intertwined within like the workshops and classes? Like I kind of picture masterclass with some of these folks. Is that kind of how it's set up?
Mm-hmm. There have been those in the past. We actually just had book club with Michael Uslan. And so it was about 30 veterans, and they got to, talk to him like on a Zoom call and just kind of, get to ask him questions. He's the producer of every modern Batman movie. And you just look at his filmography, it's incredible. And he was just wonderful. And so it was a really great experience. But yeah, so we have like the book clubs, we have a roundtable. So roundtables tend to be smaller, up to about 10 veterans. And so if it's a director's roundtable, we want to make sure that those are people who have like a directing background. So there might be an application process in order to get selected to go to that roundtable. But so we have that. And then we have like book club, which is a little bit larger, but we trying to keep them kind of small, all the way up to classes where anybody who really wants to join can come in and be a part of that class. And we like a lot of participation too. So even if it's a class that starts off where you just have the instructors, by the end of the class, we like to bring everybody on screen and ask their questions in person. And we encourage a lot of talk in the chat. So it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. This is so exciting. I'm so intrigued, and yeah, very cool. Cool.
Yeah.
All
It's
right,
a great
Mark.
group of people.
Ashley
for
Ashley
sure.
loved the book club part. So did Mark.
I know. I was like, book
They both
club?
read.
I don't read. I listen to books. I'm straight
that
up.
counts.
I'm straight up audiobooks or legal stuff. That's the only thing I read nowadays.
I have to say, like, I have just been so intrigued with like art therapy, bibliotherapy, to listening to books, reading books, storytelling in its therapeutic state, right? So I just think that there's a lot of opportunities for veterans who are, I guess, whether you're looking for something like, I want to do this like full-time professional, I want to get into the industry, or is it kind of, and I'm sorry, I'm just like, well, I'm so intrigued right now, but like, is that something then like a veteran who's like, I kind of want to take a class. Like, I think that would be kind of cool. Like, they can do all of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, like no matter what industry you're breaking into, like it can be kind of a lonely experience, and not knowing like what you need to learn in order to get in there, because there's a different language that you need to learn in order to be successful in entertainment. And, people in entertainment don't always talk to each other the same way that veterans do. Like we can be very direct. And if you say something like, that's what you mean. Like if you say, I'm going to get back to you in 2 days, like they literally mean, I'll get back to you in 2 days. Well, they might not mean that necessarily in the entertainment industry. They say like, I'll get back to you soon. And so you just have to know, like, you just say things a little bit differently. So that's kind of another thing that we're trying to do, is create this community to kind of learn that in a safe place and just really be that network for each other.
Awesome. All right, Mark, take the questions because I'm going to keep asking questions.
Yeah,
I'm on a roll.
so
I'm intrigued.
this couldn't be more in my blank area of knowledge. So I will admit that right from. But I did kind of have a funny story. There was my best friend in the Army was our company radio telephone operator, and I was with him nonstop. And then when we got back, he decided to come and work for the American Legion, and he sent me his resume, and I read it, and I was floored because it turned out that he had been a set designer for the Jim Henson Muppet Festival. And all I could think was, I just spent a year and a half with you overseas, and I'm absolutely certain the word Muppet never once came up. Like, how does this come up? But I'm kind of curious, like every once in a while you'll see somebody, usually on Facebook, who thinks they're going to be the next Dale Dye and go to Hollywood, and they're going to correct all the evils of all the uniforms and everything else. Can you talk about some of the specific successes you have had in placing people, and how much those people stay a part of the system once they've sort of started to achieve what they were looking for? I assume they feed back in a mentor sort of way.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's been so important and so critical is like, and that's kind of like one of the things we're focused on is kind of reaching back and helping the next generation up, just because there may not have been support for veterans entering the entertainment industry years ago doesn't mean it always has to be that way. And we have had some amazing mentors. TJ Brady, who works on The Chi, and he started off in Army Wives and has kind of moved his career, really, really done well in his career. He is always mentoring, young writers, and he's come back and given panels and that kind of thing. And we have people who've, so one of our VME members worked for years trying to get in at a talent agency. And so I think it took him about 7 years, and he finally got in, and worked his way up like bottom floor, got in the mailroom, and just really impressed them and made it to an assistant like in record time, and is really working through just doing incredible things. And he came back and he gave a panel on how to get into how to get in to become a talent agent. We have Rashawn Dozer Escalante, and she started off in our internships program, and now she is writing for CBS SIL team. So we just have some amazing people, and she's got such an incredible story, and just always is like the first one to give back to others. So we've had a lot of those really great success stories, and it's just so awesome to see these people, work with them and just see like what they're able to accomplish, because there's just so much talent out there. I think sometimes people think that veterans might not be that creative. And if so, like they've never been on a deployment when like veterans need to like, I don't know, like get a TV started or something like that. But there's this, this misperception, and just to see people go out there and really kill it is awesome.
We held talent shows every now and again when we were out in the field, and hilarious. So yeah, there's nobody funnier. And I know like David Bellavia, who's the first living recipient of the Medal of Honor from Iraq. He actually was a theater arts major in college, and I've had long discussions with him, and he wanted to write plays and everything else. So I know they're out there. It's just I haven't, other than the Muppet Festival and David Bellavia, I haven't run into any, but that's neither here nor there.
I've definitely had a few soldiers that are like very talented, they could do voiceover in a heartbeat, very theatrical.
Oh,
I had some great soldiers.
And if you saw me texting over here, it's because I was asking my attorney is apparently on the advisory board for veterans in media and education. So
awesome.
Yeah. So
are you gonna shout him out?
Yeah. John Mason, how are you?
Oh, hey John.
Yeah, he's a buddy of mine. So I thought he had mentioned it, but I wasn't entirely sure. So all right, we will take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Italy.
The American Legion is Veterans Strengthen America. We're in your community, supporting veterans, service members, and their families, enriching the lives of young people, and promoting citizenship and patriotism. Our members are passionate about these core values. Help strengthen America by joining the American Legion today. For more information, go to legion.org/join.
All right, we are rejoined by Barbara Autin from the Veterans in, we're calling it Veterans in Media and Entertainment?
Entertainment, right. VME, for sure.
Yeah, I saw the VME. I just was trying to noodle it through, and working a little slow today. So, all right, Jeff, you are up again, buddy.
All right, you said some of these names. I'm going to say them again because I want to talk a little bit about. We talk a lot of the American Legion about representing your community, and our community at 43 is Hollywood. You've mentioned Karen Kraft; she's on our executive committee. You mentioned Rebecca Murga; she's the district historian. I don't know if we brought up Tracy Martin yet.
Tracy's amazing.
She's a co-chair of our media and communications at the Post. Our outgoing adjutant is VME, Diana Wilson.
Yep.
So we have quite. I don't know if you know this guy, Jeff Daly. He's in VME.
Who's that? I think I've heard that name before.
So he's of the Michigan Dailies, as Mark will tell you.
Jeff Daly couldn't even locate me an extra on a 2004 episode of Stargate the other day. So I question whether he knows.
It was
anything.
a very blurry screenshot, and I don't want to know what you were doing while you were taking the screenshot because it was very, very blurry. So let's talk a little bit about the VME's relationship with the American Legion, and if it's good, bad, what we could do better, things like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the American Legion has been instrumental in the growth of VME. And, from the very beginning, when it was VFT, it started off meeting in the basement of the American Legion Post 43. And I mean, that meeting space is crucial to being able to start that connection and start that those class series and really kind of get to the point where we were able to bring it online and really show that there was proof of concept there. So I just can't, overstate the amount of support and the importance of that support from the American Legion. We've also had support from Post 283 through a grant that helped support the Jobs and Internships program. And so that was incredible because I think through that Jobs and Internships program just from last year, I've got the statistics down here. So we had 56 jobs in 2019. We had 20 paid internships last year. We do leave a lot of positions open just because we aren't fully funded. And that's one of our ongoing struggles is that we are volunteer led. So every single person who is working at VME is doing so in a volunteer capacity, and they all work different jobs. And then last year we had job placements at Netflix, HBO, Lionsgate, UTA. And that wouldn't be possible without the support of the American Legion. And I think it fits really nicely under the first pillar of the American Legion, the veterans, benefits and rehabilitation with that whole career placement and career progression. So, we love the American Legion.
And we love you. So I would say, I've told this story. I haven't told this story on the podcast, but prior to October 2017, I honestly couldn't have told you what the American Legion was. And this whole connection with community is super important because the first time I ever entered the building of my post was because a couple of friends of mine who are stand-up comedians or whatever, they were teaching a writing comedy class that I believe it was VFT then. VFT put on, and I went to it, and I go in this building I've driven by a million times, and I go in there and I go into what you call the basement. We call it the cabaret room. And we went into the cabaret room, and I took this class, and then I said, what the heck is this building and what do they do? And I talked to somebody, and then I joined. So it is people like Barbara's fault that I'm here with you today, Stevie and Ashley. And you can.
All right, let's end it right here.
You're welcome.
There are certain sins that are unforgivable, and this is certainly one of them.
Aw, I didn't know. That's awesome, Jeff. I love it. Look at it. This all beautiful thing is all tied together. No.
It is.
Oh, so beautiful.
Was there a question there?
Nope.
Comment.
Oh, I have to ask a question.
Oh.
So we did. No, I asked my question.
Oh, okay.
I asked my question ahead of time.
Well, then say, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had a post question comment.
I got it. I'm still trying to figure out you being a comedy writer, which I'm all for it. All right, Ashley, go.
All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit more. I saw internships, right? We're on the same topic train as education programs, internships. And, I noticed that you you've mentioned before, like up to 85% of jobs and internship positions are filled by like personal connections. And I wanted to kind of see if we could hit on some specific grants that, whether it's like grants, different networks that you're working with, and those partnerships for the internships themselves. Just kind of give the gamut of all of the reach that VME has.
Yeah. So as far as the internships go, those are from our, well, right now about 23 different entertainment partners, and those span, like I said, from Lionsgate, HBO, CBS, NBC Universal sends us a lot of jobs and internships. All of the different companies, and they've been incredibly supportive. And I think part of it is because we curate the candidates. So when they go to, when we send, 3 to 4, sometimes 5 different candidates, we've looked at them, made sure that it aligns with what they're looking for. And we let them know kind of this is what the company culture is. And we take a look at their resume and we do all that kind of stuff. So when they are selected, they tend to do very well. So we've had a lot of really great feedback from those that have been selected. And they say, send me 10 more of them. And we're like, it doesn't quite work that way, but we will do our best. So that's how that works. As far as grant writing goes, I mean, in some ways we're still like a startup, and we are always in the process of trying to figure out the funding. Again, we are all volunteers, and we just don't have like a designated grant writer. So that is something that is definitely one of our challenges. So
shout out to all of our listeners.
Exactly. So we have been supported by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. They have been also amazing. Like I said, the American Legion Post 283 has been very supportive of our jobs and internships program. But I mean, that's for us, like that is still definitely a work in progress. We've got proof of concept at this point, trying to put the numbers saying, we can scale up if we have, the amount of people to go through this and do these applications. But right now we're really just limited by the fact we have, anywhere from 3 to 5 people working in our jobs and internships program, and all of those people have additional jobs because they're volunteers.
Right.
So
cool. Sorry, I'm so intrigued.
In
That's
terms
the
of
word of the
network
day today.
building, Ashley, Barbara has already networked with one of our previous guests
Oh,
about some upcoming. Remember our media maven, Carrie Jeter?
Yes.
She's amazing. Thank you so much for connecting us.
Carrie.
Yeah, she is doing so many fantastic things. So it was really, really fun to talk to her and
cool.
just
The Tango
connect over
Alpha
stories.
Lima network.
Exactly.
It grows.
It strikes me that this is a situation where if you, like you're saying, once you get kind of critical mass and you get people in there, particularly if they're succeeding, there's gonna be a greater and greater desire for those kind of people. And you had talked about how you can only move so fast as you're moving up. But what is sort of your 5-year plan? What do you guys hope to accomplish?
Yeah. So, I mean, ideally, we would hope to accomplish, we would be like the premier organization for veterans entering the entertainment industry and would be fully funded. So that would be the ideal program. We would have a very robust jobs and internships program, because I think that's one of the best ways, that we can support our veteran population is helping to figure that out and giving different access into the industry. So I think if we could accomplish that, that would just be amazing for, 5 to 10 years down the road.
And I know you briefly mentioned it, but it's not exclusively in the Hollywood. There's also Atlanta, Georgia, I know, is a hub. What are some other areas that people might not know? Like if you live somewhere and you're like, oh, I probably can't get into that. But what are kind of the locales that are involved in that?
So we do see a lot of things for New York. We do see, like I said, Atlanta, really wherever there's filming that's happening, that's kind of where we see it. There's some in Colorado, like Lionsgate and Stars is located out in Colorado. So that's kind of where those are the areas of critical mass as far as jobs go. But as far as being creative or being in entertainment, like I said, more so than ever, you can really do that from anywhere.
Great. All right. So if someone is transitioning now or decides they want to open up a new front in their search, where can they find you out? Where can they look you guys up, and what should they be prepared to do?
Yeah, so the website is vmeconnect.org. And so if you go to that website, there's a place where you can click to join. And as I mentioned, really to join, it's the $25 fee and then the DD-214 with the personal information blocked out. And really once there, you set up your profile and you have access to all of the classes. You have access to the jobs board. We do have a Facebook page that you can join. So we have an outward facing one if you aren't a member, and you can just kind of take a look at that. But we also have a private group that's there for members. And so you can, and we also have a place. So the jobs board is not just from jobs that are, given to us directly as VME. We also have a place where anybody who's a member can post a job. So if, that if you're working on a show and you know that they need a production assistant, you can go ahead and post that on our jobs board and, fill it out that way. And you can either use us to curate those candidates or just get those candidates directly. So the jobs board is one of the really great things that we've worked really hard to make sure is up and running and have kind of refined over the past couple of years.
Oh, Mark, can I jump in a quick follow-up on your question?
Absolutely, yeah.
When you change from VFT to VME, the M is for media. I'm wondering, are you guys expanding into things like local news so that it could be literally anywhere? Is that part of your growth plan or
yeah, absolutely. And we actually had a job posted early in the year for somebody who was for a job that was in the news. So yes, any of those types of positions. So the name change was to make it more inclusive and to recognize the fact that there's video games, there's news, there's all these different areas of industry outside of just film and television.
Cool. Very cool.
If they make another Hunger Games, is there any chance we can get Jeff starring in it?
Are the odds in my favor?
Yeah, I don't think they are. Jeff is not going to be our district representative, but thank you very much, Barbara, for joining us. We appreciate you taking time out of your day. And for everybody else, we'll be back in 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
If you care about disabled veterans and children in need, and we know you do, donate today to the American Legion Veterans and Children's Foundation. Any amount helps. Donate online at legion.org/donate.
Jeff, what did we learn from our discussion with Barbara?
I relearned a lot of stuff because I'm in VME and Barbara's a good friend of mine. So just hearing and having it reiterated their growth and how they're going to be able to affect more lives and careers is amazing.
Yeah, Ashley?
Yeah, for me, it's really kind of demystifying the entertainment business, right? Or the industry, right? So to have this opportunity for a community to have mentorship, job opportunities, and that's just not, and it's past the producer, executive, some of the common things that we think of what the entertainment industry is, right? There's so many other pieces and parts. So it's nice to know that there's internships, there's roundtables, there's opportunities to have these conversations. And I'm glad that, of course, vets are bringing it all together for everyone. So, and of course, it's got its roots in the Legion. So that makes me super happy. And I'm intrigued. I want to do the book club now. So, sold. Take my money. Here you go.
She kind of even won me over when we were off the air, and she talked about Dr. Stephen Pressfield, who is one of my favorite authors anyway, being one of the book club people. But anyway, like the working in Hollywood or, videos and things of that nature, it does strike me as a very cliquish sort of group that it's probably not the occupation where you're just going to go it alone with your can-do attitude. You're going to have to know somebody, I'm assuming. I've never tried to do it. I really have I can't even act
about
on this
who knows
podcast.
You, but or no, what is it? It's about like who knows you and not who you know or something like that. I don't know what the turn of phrase is, but I think this is a powerful conduit to helping folks figure out what they want to do and if this is the industry for them. And I think, you'll make some lifelong friends, and it's a continuation of camaraderie just as the Legion is and acts and so forth. So I encourage folks that are out there who are interested, join, take the opportunity, take a swing at it, right? You never know unless you try. And, you make some lifelong friends out of it, and you learn some new skills and maybe join a book club.
There you go.
I'm down.
Everyone else, remember to subscribe to the Tango Alpha Lima on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And while you're there, make sure you review and rate us. Share the show with all your friends so you have something to talk about on your next Zoom get-together. Super producer Holly must have just added that. I hadn't seen that one before, but that is spectacular. If you want to send us feedback, you can comment on YouTube or Facebook, or you can send us an email at tangoalphalima@legion.org. And I highly recommend you send us some mail so that we have something to talk about. And super producer Holly's giving me angry looks, so I'm absolutely certain I missed something, but we will fix it next time. And we're out. We'll see you in a week, guys. Bye.
Bye.